Well, as faculty athletic rep, that's my primary concern. I want to make sure that student athletes are afforded all the rights and responsibilities and the gift that education is. Part of it, of course, is we have a culture with an insatiable appetite to be entertained all the time. Part of it is that when a corporation like CBS gives us $6 billion for Final Four rights and NCAA basketball rights, they can actually call the shots, and in fact they do. So if it was up to faculty members, for example, basketball players would play on Friday nights and Saturday nights, and they'd probably be back in their dorms by Sunday. But we don't end up making that decision. So as a result, during the course of March and March Madness, they're going to have a conference tournament, which is a bizarre idea. Haven't we just played each other the entire year? Well, we have conference championships because there's more revenue for the university. And everybody involved in the conference championship will leave on Tuesday and stay Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday. They'll get back, they'll unpack, they'll do the laundry, and then they'll take off to the NCAAs on Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday. And depending upon how successful you are, you keep showing up to give the viewers of CBS and NBC and ABC and ESPN what they want. They want to be entertained all the time. And I think the NCAA and universities and institutions like my own, we have a responsibility to say enough is enough. That it is okay if you want to give us some money to show our games, but ultimately that has to be balanced with a greater consideration for our student athletes.
Are you suggesting that student athletes aren't getting a fair shake, a fair chance to receive the education that they've kind of signed on for when they attend an institution of higher learning?
Two things I'd say about that. Number one, I am absolutely amazed that student athletes do as well as they do. I travel with all of our 22 teams and spend a lot of time on buses and on roads and in bad hotels. And in the end, when it's all said and done, our student athletes really hang in there with the rest of the student population. But hanging in there isn't enough. I mean, what that means is they get lots of no's from people because some of these student athletes are going 15, 20, 25, 30% of all the classes. In the face of those overwhelming adversities, our student athletes do great, but they're missing something. Unless you're there in class, engaging in ideas and debating and building relationships with other students and building relationships with professors, you're not getting what education has to offer. And education, higher education, is a true gift. In the end, they learn enough and memorize enough to get through. But have they obtained the collegiate experience that we promised them? And this is to say nothing, of course, of the collegiate experience of understanding multiple cultures and going to art openings or symphonies or building relationships with professors or getting to know other people besides your teammates. I mean, and I think in a lot of ways, the system as it is now cheats a lot of our student athletes. They are, in fact, I even hazard to say student athletes. Anymore, they're athletes first. And with the time left over, they're allowed to be students.
So with so much money on the table, what's the solution?
The solution is the NCAA has to be more assertive in their negotiation. They have to say no. Last night, for example, my University of Kentucky played LSU at 9 o'clock. Now, what are student athletes playing at 9 o'clock on a Tuesday night for? There has to be a time in which the NCAA says, no, that's unacceptable. They're not going to play at Tuesday or Wednesday at 9 o'clock. I think also that in the end, it may mean a little less profit for the mega conferences. But once again, that's okay. We have Ohio State that generates about $100 million a year. My university, we generate about $61 million a year. Will we have to take a bite? Will we lose some of those millions of dollars by not always being at the beck and call of mass media? And the answer is yes, but I think the trade-off is well worth it. And the trade-off is student athletes' rights will be taken into consideration. They'll get a whole lot more out of their experience. And I just think from a moral and ethical perspective, we have an obligation to take care of our student athletes in ways we're not now. In many ways, we're exploiting our student athletes.